Think about Power Slap for a moment. You have the president of the UFC who owns it. He's constantly promoting it. He subsidizes it with UFC marketing, and he claims that it does outrageous social media numbers, which are clearly a lie. And he's doubled, tripled down on this, and he's really tying his reputation to Power Slap. But it's a ghost town. Nobody knows about it. Nobody actually watches it. The only time anybody pays attention is when he says something outrageous about it. It's a horrible watch. It's just all it is people slapping one another, giving each other concussions. I don't want to watch that. There's nothing of interest. I'm not interested whatsoever. I follow MMA closely. I don't care at all about Power Slap, but it's promoted. It's interesting because it's somewhat mainstream because Dana White won't let it go and he keeps insisting that it's successful. But it's also a ghost town because nobody nobody ever looks at it. There's nobody who's actually interested in Power Slap and really follows it. And if we look, actually, let's play a clip. This is from, I think this is the Rodeo Time podcast. Dana White talks about it. Let's play the clip.
What a man! You just turned it into a monster. I mean, you saw that from the get-go, probably.
How about this? It does 1 billion views a month.
Gosh,
1 billion views a month, which doubles what we did last year.
And
Okay, clearly it doesn't actually get 1 billion views a month. No, 1 billion people aren't legitimately watching these clips and videos. Whatever they're doing to come up with that number, if it's even happening, I would love to see an audit. It would be great if somebody was able to, somebody who's in analytics could actually do an advanced audit. But we'll do our own informal audit right now. What's very interesting is if you go to the subreddit for Power Slap, there's almost no activity. Again, ghost town. So here we have the latest post from 13 hours ago. I think this is the latest. No, it's sorting by best. So let's sort it by hot posts. Same post comes up. 4 comments, 9 upvotes. Let's sort by new. So yeah, 14 hours ago, 4 comments. There are 1,000 slappers, it says. And you just have 5 comments on the next post. These are posts from like 8 days ago, 14 days ago, 17 days ago. There's another post, is Power Slap dead? This actually has the most comments at 24. But there's nothing here. Nobody is interested in this. Nobody is watching this. So let's go ahead and let's play another clip. This is Dana White making one of his many outrageous claims.
If you take the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL, the UFC, WWE, NASCAR, Formula One, PGA, and a couple others that I can't remember, you combine all their social media numbers together and multiply them by 4, Power Slap beats them.
Okay. You've lost all credibility. I mean, when you say something like that, that's so obviously wrong. It's like, how could anybody take anything you say seriously? He is the president of the UFC. And what's surprising is that he doesn't really pay attention to the UFC as much. He doesn't run it nearly as well as he used to. But now he's got this diverted interest. And I'm surprised. I think he actually just re-upped his contract. But he's now got divided focus when his focus should all be on the UFC. But he owns Power Slap. And so this isn't, he just continually makes outrageous and clearly false statements about the success of Power Slap. This is by no means a juggernaut, but Dana White has been in on this and so insistent that it was going to be the future. And of course it isn't. Looking at the YouTube page, we do see 3.72 million subscribers, and there are a lot of views on the videos. So looking at the videos, one from 6 hours ago has 19,000, 2 days ago, 38,000, 68,000 from 7 days ago. And of course, if we look at TikTok and Instagram, they're getting activity there as well. But what's also revealing is if you go to Twitter, so the official count of followers is 72.2 thousand on Twitter, which Twitter's more difficult to get followers for. But if we just scroll down, this is really telling. A post from 5 hours ago has no comments, 3 retweets, and 9 likes, 1,000 views. A post from December 18th, so today is the 20th, has 2 comments, 12 likes, and 1.2 thousand views. Then another post from December 17th, again, 2 comments. This, I think Twitter is the dead giveaway if Reddit wasn't already. It's just not here. Nobody is paying attention to this. And it's not like it's an up-and-coming sport. This is horrible. It's horrible to watch. It's just people slapping each other back and forth. And then also, you don't get the value that you would with let's say the NFL is at least entertaining. Now you just have people that are getting concussions and CTE for, I mean, for I guess like to promote this fledgling sports, like, and I use the term sports actually incorrectly. It's not. I wouldn't call this a sport, but let's go ahead and just refer to it as a sports league. This fledgling sports league. The people aren't athletes. They don't. They're not making real money. This is just Dana White is just solely propping this up. It solely exists based on Dana White insisting that it's relevant and using the UFC's marketing to subsidize. And so we've seen in the past, and I haven't checked recently, but on the UFC's YouTube account, you'll see, or you used to see, Power Slap events promoted through the UFC. So right there, that's free advertising that wouldn't otherwise be there. But there's nothing here. There's no interest here. I don't know of anybody that's interested in this. And it's not as if it's not like I'm checking constantly with different people, but Power Slap never comes up organically. Like, have you seen the latest Power Slap, or are you going to watch this? It's more just around the fact that it even exists and that Dana White keeps saying this and people making light of the league because there's really nothing here. And then one other important note is that Craig Jones, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master, he is a social media influencer in his own way. The guy's hilarious. The guy is a star in and of himself, but he's known for being one of the best in the world at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But he pointed out that the YouTube views on two of the UFC's on the UFC's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu event. And so here you see the same video. And the first video is from October 7th, 2025. You have 277,000 views. And it was streamed 2 hours ago at that time. And then the second video shows... Oh, okay. So looking at this again, if you look at the first video and you look at it at two different dates. On the first date, we have October 7th. It's got 1.9 million views, 300 comments, and then 8.8 thousand likes. Then looking at it from October 11th, you have 9 million views, 325 comments, and then 9.8 thousand likes. So that right there is a giveaway that something is wrong with the views, because the views jump over 7 million. The comments only go up 25. The likes only go up 1,000. So that's what Craig Jones posts here. In the span of 4 days, the UFC BJJ 3 allegedly accumulated over 7 million additional views while only gaining 25 comments and 1,000 likes. So this is why I say audit. Auditing an audit would be so. It would be such good. It would be such a good. It would be such good content to watch the UFC and Power Slap get audited, and not so much the UFC. Obviously, the UFC stands alone, but with Power Slap, it would be so funny to watch Power Slap get audited and Dana White have to reconcile how the supposed billions of views are coming in, and how Power Slap is actually bigger than every sport in the world combined times 4. So it came up once again. We had this podcast interview. Dana White talks about Power Slap, and I don't know. It seems slightly inauthentic. Like, obviously Dana White is tied to Power Slap, but it seemed like it was going more in on Power Slap than an interview would normally be, because no one really thinks about Power Slap that much unless Dana White brings it up. So you have this guy talking about Power Slap. Maybe it was organic, but it was in the news. I caught it, and I've looked into Power Slap before. There's nothing here. It's not that I'm disinterested in. It's that nobody's interested in it. It's like this is not going, and it's solely propped up by Dana White. So it will be, and Dana White is so entrenched on this. He's so invested on this, and we know that it's not going anywhere. But it's going to be interesting to see how long this charade goes on. So I wanted to cover Power Slap. Dana White insists it's successful. Obviously, it is not.